All right. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Man, I tell you what, this time is flying by. The weeks are going so fast. It's crazy. Hope everybody is doing well. Obviously, it is Sunday. So, we're going to be talking about how do we get the country going, getting us basically out of this recession that we're in. Max, don't start. Look, I got to show you right off the bat. Here we go. Max, wow, what are you doing? Relax. Um, Freaking cat. All right. Oh, no. Oh, hold on. I'll show you this too, real quick. Hold on. There's a little bitty head sitting there at the bottom of that. All right. So, uh, yeah, they like to be around me. So but that's okay. I like it. I don't mind it. All right. So we're gonna get into talking about what's help get the country out of the recession, what's going on, what and all the types of different things as well. We're gonna talk about a lot of different things. Okay. But before we get started, I want to remind everybody right away if there's any interruptions in this stream that I will get right back on as soon as I can. Probably the last four streams that I have done have been interrupted. So it happens. It may happen tonight. Who knows? We'll see what happens. It is, I don't know if you can hear that outside. It is raining very, very hard at the moment. It's been raining off and on all day. They've basically been calling for rain today, tomorrow, and the next day. So next 3 days we're looking at straight rain. But we needed it. We were definitely down as far as rain went. So I'm not going to complain about that at all. Um, Also, I wanted to remind everybody as well. This is a very family-friendly oriented channel, so I would ask everybody to please be decent in the chat. If you cannot do that, or if you're just willfully ignorant, those awesome people that you see lit up in blue, they're going to boot you out of here because we're not going to have it. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So anyway, here we are. So couple things. I've had people say because I yesterday we built that raised bed yesterday, and it's not obviously not finished yet. I still have to get the Quikrete, get that in, and do that. And once I get the Quikrete in, then we still have to get the dirt in there, and then we start with the next bed, and then I got to get the capstones on that one. But it was a lot of work, but it was really satisfying. And it was funny too because it's like the beginning of the day. I was thinking I'm gonna go ride today. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I think ended up being like 81 or something like that. It's okay. It's all right. He's choking. Um, so but anyway, I never ended up riding. By the time I got done with everything, at the probably the last half an hour, I was just like pushing through to get it done. I was so tired, but I slept great last night. Absolutely slept like a rock. But Prepper Patty watching volcano in St. Vincent, the Grenadiers, West Indies. Yeah, there has been a lot of volcanic activity going around, right? Recently, a lot of volcanoes erupting. And here's the one thing that always amazes me about that, and it just blows my mind that people don't take that into consideration. If we have enough volcanic activity and enough ash and all that stuff goes up into the upper atmosphere, that absolutely will affect the weather. It'll cool the planet down. Um, you look back at Mount St. Helens when that went in 1980. I believe it was 1980. If I am wrong, please correct me, because I remember it going off, and it was just like, wow. I mean, it was just, and it was at that time, it seemed pretty wild that something that big would go like it did, and they knew it was going to go, but it put so much stuff in the atmosphere that it actually changed the weather. And I believe that year they got snow in July. It was either that year or it was the following year. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but there was snow in July in Maine. So think about that. I mean, that is something, all that volcanic activity, all that stuff is pushing up into the upper atmosphere all at once. Is just, yeah, it was May 18th. Okay, so then it was, yeah, so May 18th, 1980. But that I think it was that July that they had snow in Maine. which, if you think about that, all that stuff in the upper atmosphere blocks out the sun, absolutely makes a difference and definitely affects the weather. So, when you have increased volcanic activity like we're having right now, that's definitely going to have a definitely negative effect on the weather. So people need to take that into consideration. I mean, they really, really do. It's like they always talk about, cow farts and stuff like that having some drastic effect on stuff. When one volcano going off and how much stuff, how many metric tons of stuff that's putting into the upper atmosphere. I mean, it is absolutely amazing if you think about it. So if you do what we do, does it have an effect on the planet? I think that it does in a negative way as far as pollution and stuff like that goes. But in the big scheme of things, are we affecting the weather where we're warming up the planet? No, I don't think so. That's just that's my opinion, of course. Let me just make sure I'm saying that so that nobody says, "Well, you're not going along with the standards of our community because you're saying that this is this," and I'm giving my opinion. Got to be careful these days. Got to be careful. So, but anyway, it's just with everything that is happening, there is. I'm going to tell you what the thing that realistically right now you look at when I did my video earlier today, I talked about, the price of lumber going through the roof, the price of food going through the roof, gas going up exponentially, all these things going higher, which absolutely with everything else going on, loss of jobs, businesses closing left, right, and center. If you don't think we're in a recession, maybe they haven't announced that we're in a recession yet, but believe me, we're definitely in a recession. Again, let me rephrase and say, my opinion. My opinion, we're in a recession. Yeah, and it absolutely the grand solar minimum definitely. Prepper Patty just said that. I believe that the grand solar minimum has an absolute effect on it as well. The planet goes in cycles. I don't know how clear you can be on that. If they do the geological studies where they do the ice cores up in our Antarctica or wherever they do the ice cores. Okay, well, Antarctica would be below, but anyway, they do the ice core samples and it will show through the course of time, because they can go back thousands of years in the planet cycles. It does. You have periods where it's going to be warm, you're going to have periods where it's going to be cold. You had the little ice age that lasted, I think it was about 400 years, drastically changed the temperature, planet cooled it down. And it definitely had a negative effect on stuff. It had an effect on crop growth and everything else. And a lot of people died. Okay, so, it really makes a big difference. Let's see what we got here. Oh, geoengineering. Yeah, how, they are definitely been playing with the weather for a long time. They started back in the 40s with cloud seeding. That's all documented, and then it like kind of disappeared and they didn't talk about it, but that don't mean they ever stopped doing it, and they probably have perfected what they want to do. And I think that there's definitely weather warfare at play. I think that's part of what happens a lot of times, and that doesn't surprise me at all. You would have your thought the pandemic would hurt housing market, but it's boomed. Well, I'm going to tell you what the reason, in my opinion, again, what you're having with the reason the housing market has boomed the way it has, you have had a lot of people that we'll just use New York City for example, because they got hit pretty hard in New York City with everything. Anybody in New York City that had money got out. They got out of there because they could see the handwriting on the wall. Do you know what's up with Bizza Rizza? He has been MIA for 2 weeks. I actually don't. I'll have to give him a call. I have his number, so I will call him and try to find out what's going on. But yes, I will definitely check up on him, and I'll let you guys know. So I will definitely do that. Yeah, because I haven't. I know I was looking for his next, video too, and I hadn't seen it either. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I will definitely give him a buzz and see what's going on there. But anyway, what we were just talking about. I hate when that happens. Old age is terrible sometimes. But let's see. But okay, we're talking about the housing boom and stuff. But you have all these people that if they had money, they got out and they went either to, you know, further out into suburbia or out into the country. So, and you're having that happen. You're having a huge mass exodus out of California because of taxes and everything else. Same thing with New York. Weather definitely plays a factor in New York as well. So, you know, unfortunately, what happens is the the prices get driven up like that, and then you're going to have a crash at some point. Everything that is happening right now, guys, all the free money and everything else, none of it can last. None. There has to be a point where there is a reckoning. Okay, there has to be. It just can't go on. The free ride doesn't go on forever. And if it crashes, you know, we're going to be in big, big trouble. And I think that's where we're headed. Absolutely, I think that's where we're headed. So, you know, when you look at food prices and you look at like lumber prices and gas prices now, I think we're going to look back at these times right now and go, man, that was pretty cheap then. I think, and that's sad if that's what, you know, does happen. But, yep, Mrs. T said there's no free lunch. You're absolutely right on that. There is no free lunch. So, nope, can't. Jason Arnold says, I can't think of one socialist country that work. Can you? No, not at all. And socialism does not work. It doesn't work. You know, the reason that America has done as well as it has, and again, I'm going to give you my opinion, because we are definitely the land of opportunity. You can come here, you can be dirt poor, you know, but if you have a dream and a vision and you strive for it and you make it happen, you can. And I hate to call it raising your station, but in a way, that's what it is. You can go from, you know, like literally just dirt poor to being a millionaire very, very quickly. But a lot of that comes down to hard work, determination, having that drive. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that drive. So when you take away the incentive for success, it puts people in ruts, and that's what happens with socialism. If you have a socialist government and everybody's getting the same, where's your motivation? Where is your incentive to do better, to get ahead? Because everybody else is going to be sharing the wealth equally. So you go, screw it, I'm not doing it. You know, it absolutely takes that away, which is not good. And the only people that are going to get ahead in a socialist situation are the people that are, you know, way ahead. So, but yeah, so that's absolutely part of it. So, what is? I don't understand what that is because that didn't come up. That's weird. But how do you feel about the possible? What's going on with Russia? Tracy just asked that. You know, with the situation over there right now, I'm going to tell you what. Hopefully we don't end up in a war. A lot of times when you're trying to look at helping get out of a recession, war is always the answer, right? Because war is big business, galvanizes a country, people work together, you know, and everything starts to boom. Unfortunately, it happens. But, you know, it is definitely, it's not a good situation. And if you think about it realistically, since my children have been born, you know, they'll be 20 years old in October. All right. We've been at war the whole time, the last 20 years. We have not, there's not been one time in the last 20 years that we have not been fighting somebody somewhere, even if it's an invisible enemy, you know, and, you know, that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. 80K Man says, yes, so many job openings here, but people want to collect. Oh, hold on, let me read that. Want to collect unemployment, begging for workers up here. 80K Man just said that. Yeah, you know, there is a lot of people that are definitely taking advantage of what is going on. They are. It's unfortunate. It really, really is. But yeah, don't poke the bear, Sleepy Joe. Exactly. Robert Blakemore just said that. Yeah, you know, Russia is not a country you want to screw with. They don't play. They absolutely do not play. And, you know, with all this, you know, like we're sending a couple of warships to, you know, the Black Sea right now, you know, because of the whole situation in the Ukraine and stuff like that. And it's just, I'm telling you, it's a nightmare situation that, you know, Absolutely. Right now, the whole world is a big powder keg, and I'm going to tell you why. In just my opinion, with everything that's going on with the virus all over the world, businesses being shut down, economies being destroyed, people being out of work. I mean, you look at what they're doing in Canada right now. I just read an article today, and like I said, I'm not saying that this is true. I'm not saying it's not true, but everything else that has been talked about up in Canada has been coming to fruition. But they're talking about the troops are mobilizing, preparing to basically go out there, man checkpoints, stopping people from traveling, and doing those type of things because they're in another lockdown up there, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. Hey, Open House Texas, good evening. What are your thoughts on St. Vincent eruption? Government is only allowing vaccinated people to evacuate. I did not know that. I did not know. I don't know if that's true. I don't think that that's true. I don't see how that could possibly be true. If people are in danger, they're not going to say, "Okay, we'll evacuate you only if." I have a hard time believing that. Could be true. I'm not saying you're not telling the truth, but I have a hard time believing that they would do that. I really do. So I'm hoping that's not the case, because if that would be the case, that would be horrible for those poor people. Guys, we're at 879 in the chat. We're at 247 on the thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And thank you ahead of time. If a person is vaccinated with mRNA, can this be passed in a blood transfusion? That is a great question. And I do not know the answer to that. I really don't know the answer to that. But that's a great question. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Because if you're taking that blood that's already had that in there and putting it into somebody else, I would imagine that it probably would be. My guess would be yes. My guess, if I had to take a guess, and like I said, I don't know the answer for sure, but I would say probably yes. So, but anyway, again, with shooting a thumbs up, it really does help with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction we have, it's better for the channel as well. So I would thank you for doing it for that reason as well. Also, of course, the third reason is I do like to see a lot of thumbs up. It's just a fun game. And so I appreciate that as well. Cruise ships only evacuating the vaccinated. Jeanette Davis just said that. You know what? I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense. That really doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I mean, you guys could be right. Homestead Homeboy, good evening, Ed. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for the donation as well. I do appreciate that. Yeah, I had not heard that. So it's true. You have to show your passport. Wow. If that's the case, that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. Here's something interesting as well. And I don't know if you guys have seen this article or not. Okay. The Marine Corps offered the vaccination. 40%. I want you to think about that. Of the Marines said no thanks. So now they're thinking of trying to make it mandatory that the servicemen have that. Hey, John Christopher, VolcanoVax triple true reports. True, multiple reports. I'm sorry. VolcanoVax multiple reports. Wow, that's absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane. KRFJR. Yes, it can. Watched an interview with Dr. Sherry Tripley. She said so. Wow. You know what? Then that's wrong. That is just wrong. Ed, the UK military leaders warned of World War III months ago as a result of COVID. Yeah, I'll tell you what, there is. But anyway, so they're trying. Well, getting back to what I was saying about the Marines. So 40% of them said no, we don't want it. So now they're talking about trying to force them to get it. Why? This is what I don't understand. It's supposed to be voluntary, right? You're supposed to, if you willingly want it, you can go and get it. And then they're going to try to do all these things to force you to do it. I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, there's always been a huge amount of pressure for people to get the flu shot. Some people got it, some people didn't. That's just been across the board from day one. So I don't understand the push so hard on this thing to get this. It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. And I can tell you right now, personally, for my own perspective, am not ever going to get it. Not going to happen. Just like I won't take the flu shot either. So, it's the same thing. What I was told, the military cannot make it mandatory because it's not an approved vaccine. Squirrely Radio just said that. Okay. Yeah, and that's in see guys again. And I really don't want to get into talking about that, okay? But you have something that is it's emergency released. That's all it is. Scary. I'm sorry. So yeah, and it's a control issue. Exactly. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things progress. It really will. I want to see how far they will push before people push back. That would be an interesting scenario, in my opinion, because I think it comes to a point where if they really start trying to push things and pushing whatever the agenda is on people, I think you're going to see a lot of blowback down the road. Again, my opinion. It comes down to a point where people are just going to be like, enough is enough, and I think that's but yeah, it's I don't know. Teresa said, Ed, the V is killing tons. They're hiding. Well, if there is a lot of people having adverse effects to things, of course, they're not going to put that out there because they want people to continue to line up. I heard, I've heard so many things. I heard, one of the things I heard, a lot of the people that are getting it, when the fall comes, there'll be something else released that because they had it, they'll be affected and it will be detrimental. You know what? Who knows? I'm not saying that that's true. I'm not saying it's not true. Okay. I'm just saying, there's so much speculation. There is so much misinformation being put out there all the way around. Okay. It's like whenever anybody puts anything, okay, anything on, and I've seen it over and over and over again, when people say anything that they can't dispute that has been said, they come up with that whole thing where they put on the bottom, well, it has been tested and it is safe and, blah, 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 blah. They always have that little rebuttal at the bottom there. And I'm just like, whatever. Side effects are as high as 60% with symptoms of fever and chills. DJ just said that. Like I said, individual decision. If you want to do it, knock yourself out. Do what you feel like you got to do. For me personally, I look at it like this, and this is the way I look at it. I'm talking about for myself and for myself only. I'm not sick. I don't feel I need to get it. If I get it, okay, and I'm not talking about but if I get the V, right, my chances of survival are very, very high. So, why would I put something foreign into my body? I just, Jeff Emery, for your garden funds in the greenhouse. Thank you very much, man. I do appreciate that. It's very kind of you. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, the gardening is not cheap. It is not cheap, but you know what? It's well worth it. It's like I said, it's a lot of fun, and I do enjoy it. So, yeah. But A-Man said, hold on a second. I just want to read this. They are evacuating all. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me get that. Where is that? God darn it. Hold on, guys. Oh, gosh. Where did that go again? I'm trying to find this. They are evacuating all from St. Vincent's, its neighboring countries that are only accepting vaccinated people. I gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. I would have a hard time believing that they would say that if you didn't get it, they wouldn't, remove you from some place that was dangerous. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just the whole control issue, I have a huge problem with it. I always have. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be told what I have to do. Again, that's just my personal thing. So save your garden plant seeds at harvest, peppers and tomatoes, etc. Yeah. Oh, anything you plant, guys, this year, definitely save your seeds. I think it's a smart thing to do. Real smart thing to do. So yeah, 99.6 without the jab. Yep, exactly. Hey, Mom Survival. I'm due in July, and my doctor was going over what vaccines baby boy will get. She literally asked me if I wanted my newborn on the vaccine waiting list for its approval. No. Yeah, I don't blame you. Let me give you some advice. You can take it or leave it. It's completely up to you. You're having a child, you get, your initial vaccinations that they have to get right away. When they get ready for their 2-year-old shots, and this is what I would advise anybody. I never tell anybody don't get your children, not to get your children vaccinated for the different things that are out there, but make them spread it out. They don't have to jam them all at once. The reason that they do it all at once is because a lot of times they're afraid people are not going to bring their children back. That's why they do it that way. But you can talk to the doctor and you can force them to do a schedule for for their 2-year-old shots and stuff like that. North Shore Preparedness Canada has said if hospitalized for Rona, they can move you to any facility without consent of any kind. Yeah, that is a huge problem. That's a huge problem. Talk about a control thing. That is ridiculous that they would do that. And so think about this, okay? Think about this. Now they'll put you in a facility, let's say Canada does that, put you in a facility someplace and say, the only way we're going to release you is if you do this, this, and this. Otherwise, you're staying. And they can detain you for however long they want. Now, I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but I have, you isolate somebody enough, you do different things to control the narrative. It's just like what I had said before. Okay, now I want you to think about this. Let's go back to the Bundys, right? Uh, they locked all those guys up. You really haven't heard a lot since different ones have been released. Pretty low key. Because you know what? You put somebody in a cell long enough and you say, keep playing games, stupid, and we're going to lock you up forever. You realize that you are not in control, that you don't have that power. You may think that you have that power. Now, you could get out and you could make your last stand and do what you want to do type of situation. But what good does that do? And it does no good sitting in a jail cell. I'm telling you right now. North Shore Preparedness said, Ed, people coming into the country have been quarantined and they forgot to feed them. I had not seen that. I did not see that. But thank you. I'm sure that's, I wouldn't surprise me. Bryce Cry said, anything more on Tennessee or Kentucky? Actually, young man that I've been talking to down in Tennessee, he's having a couple of realtors contact me either tomorrow or Tuesday. So I had given him, he has my information. So he's going to give them that information. What I'm going to be doing, guys, so let me give you a little heads up on that situation, what's happening there. All right. Again, I'm not putting my property on the market tomorrow. I may not put my property on the market at all. I may keep this property. Okay. That's a real possibility. If I can get the right piece of property someplace else for the right price, I can have a second bug out location. And then when winter comes here in New York and I don't want to be here, I can get out of here and I have an alternative site that I can go to that I can play around and do different things down there. Now, does that mean that I will forever go back and forth? Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But there's nothing that says that I have to sell, this and then move. I may keep both. I don't know yet. I really don't know how it's going to go. Like I said, I'm looking, and I said, I think in today's video earlier, I'm looking at 3 places. I'm looking at Kentucky, I'm looking at Tennessee, and I'm also going to look in West Virginia. Okay. I've been given some really good advice about West Virginia, and I'm going to definitely look there as well. Hold on a second. I want to read this. Maria Beers. Gee, thanks, Ed. I just had a blood transfusion 2 weeks ago. Never thought about having the vax. By the way, sent you a package. We'll be there on Tuesday. Okay, well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Thank you. And so, I will look for that. And yeah, I don't know if that's, it wouldn't surprise me that if somebody that donated blood that has been vaccinated, that it could transfer into somebody else. That I don't know. That's a, I would, like I said, if I had to guess, think. I want you to think about this. Okay, you look back when AIDS was happening, and you had your hemophiliacs that have to have blood transfusions and all that type of stuff. That kid comes to mind, and I can't think of that kid's name anymore. God, it's been so long. He was like 16, and he ended up dying of AIDS because people had donated blood, and because of the transfusion, he ended up getting AIDS through no fault of his own. So. Uh, when you literally have your enemy breathing out your neck like Ukraine in Russia, there's going to be issues. Yeah, there generally will be, but again, it's you never know what's going to happen. You really don't. You really don't. So, Ryan White, thank you very much. I knew somebody was going to say, I couldn't think of the young man's name. I think he ended up dying at like 16 through no fault of his own. Really, really nice kid. And unfortunately, a lot of people died, because they got the blood transfusion. People were donating blood, not even thinking about it, and unfortunately it did transfer. So I think that it absolutely is a very big possibility that it probably would transfer through a blood transfusion from somebody who had been vaccinated and then giving it to somebody that hadn't been. So that's why I said probably so. But I don't have all that information, so I don't work in that field. But I would say it probably yes, that it would. Guys, we're almost at 1,200 people in the chat. We're at 385 on the thumbs up. If you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to do that, please, to show support for the channel. Arthur Ashe, too. Yep, exactly. Yep, he was another one. Yep. To show support for the channel, I do appreciate that, and thank you ahead of time. Also, again, it really does help with the algorithm. So the more interaction we have, positive or negative, but we do prefer positive with the thumbs up. It really does help with the channel too. So I appreciate it for that reason as well. Of course, the third reason, I do like to see a lot of thumbs up. So that's, one of the reasons as well. It's just it's a fun game just to see where we can get with the thumbs up. Also, again, if you're not subscribed, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you ahead of time for that. HIV bioengineered as well. Well, I want you to think about this. Let's go. Let's talk about HIV for a second. Okay. 2 places that HIV started in the United States. And I want you to think about this and tell me it wasn't done on purpose. I have no evidence that it was, none whatsoever. But HIV started in 2 places in the United States. And I want to see if anybody can remember what those 2 places were. So if you can, we're going to do a little game here just for fun. Where do you think the AIDS epidemic started? 2 different places, 2 different cities in the United States. Let's go with the cities, not the state. Let's go with the 2 different cities in the United States where it started in the United States. David Williams is correct. He says San Francisco. That was one of them. And the other one, guys, we got to get the answers up here. New York City. Yep. New York City. 2 places it started was San Francisco and New York City. Very, very large gay communities. That's where it started. And anybody else is putting anything else up, you're wrong. Sorry. New York City and San Francisco. That is where it really initiated in the United States, and then it just spread from there. But tell me that wasn't released. Tell me that wasn't released on purpose. I would be shocked to think that it wouldn't be. Why would it start there and in the gay communities? So just something to think about. Something to think about. And I know it was they tried to break it down and said it was an airline steward that was gay that was in San Francisco and then he was in New York City and stuff like that. They tried to blame it on that. But yep, airline steward. Yep, there we go. Somebody else just said it too, David Williams. I remember that stuff, guys. I remember all that stuff, Yeah, Rock Hudson made it famous. Remember Liberace with his watermelon diet. Well, apparently it wasn't the watermelon diet, So real sad, real sad. The AIDS came out of Africa, they said. Yes, that is what they said. That is what they said. So, but when you had both coasts getting hit at the same time, I find that highly suspicious. Not that I'm a conspiracy theorist in any way, shape, or form, okay? But when you pay attention to stuff, if Freddie Mercury, what a sad thing there. Just a very, very talented individual. Absolutely love Queen. I'll be honest with you. Love his voice. Absolutely unbelievable talent and wasted, gone. Liberace was a very much an entertainer. You know, a lot of people died from it. Very, very sad. The rumor mill was that a human was with a gorilla when I was a kid. Yeah, I heard all that too. That somebody was sleeping with monkeys or something, and that's how they got it. So, you know, yeah, it's just who knows. But no, like Freddie Mercury, I love Freddie Mercury. I thought he was a fantastic talent, just an unbelievable voice, and it's a shame. That is an absolute shame. But again, you know, I've heard all the rumors that it was manufactured. I've heard all the rumors that it came from here, it came from there, it came from the other place. It's just what's true and what's not true. Who knows? But I'll tell you what, it affected a whole lot more people than they thought it was going to. A lot of people. So but it's just I want you to think about this. Let's just for a moment. Let's do some speculation. Okay. Hey, Freddie left you. Lyme disease also was a sketchy story too. Yeah, well, we're gonna thank you very much for the donation and thank you for the statement on that too. That's another thing. When information is released, and I want you to think about this, and this is just something to ponder, something to think about. Okay, not saying true, not saying not true, just to think about. When information is released by any of the big lettered companies or corporations that are government run, how do you know what's true and what's not true? How do you know that, oh my God, there's this huge surge happening? How do you know it's true? Okay. You don't. Oh, you talk about Tuskegee. Yeah. Yeah. There's another thing too. They told them that they were, helping these people, and they gave them all syphilis, and then they studied them. That's exactly what happens. Human experimentation happens all the time. Happens all the time. I'll tell you a fun story. You might like this one. Okay. I have a cousin. Now I've obviously several cousins, but one of my cousins is a nurse just like myself. Okay. His brother, my first cousin, he's already had it. Already had the, right. But he was one of the ones that got paid to get it. So he was one of the guinea pigs. He said, "Well, I figured I'd have to get it." His logic was, "Well, I figured I'd have to get it anyway, so I might as well get paid to do it." That to me is just, I don't even know what thinking that is. I don't get it. But that happens, and that's what they are. They're guinea pigs. You are talking, that's, I don't know. It's just, I just look at stuff and I just shake my head, and I wonder why. That's all I do 9 times out of 10. But but anyway, we're gonna get off that subject because I really don't want to get on that. Like I said, I've tried to be, again. Let me just rephrase again and just very strongly say, if you want something, you can go ahead and get it. If you don't want it, then don't get it. It's an individual choice. It's up to you. I would just encourage everybody to do their research and make an informed decision. And you can, you can do whatever you want to do. So, but again, who do you trust? All right. Do you trust that the government is always going to be 100% honest and truthful with you? That's, I sure don't, because they never are. They never are. So, they tell us what they want us to hear, and we're supposed to accept it as fact, period. That's how it goes. Well, let's do this. Let's change it up here, guys. Okay. Let's do this really quickly. We're going to change things up. Let's do the egg count now. It's only 8:30 or 8. Well, it's 8:37. Okay. Well, there we go. So it's more than enough time. We have a tendency to run doing this late all the time, but let's do the egg count. And we had, like I said, today, very, very rainy day today. And so just off and on rain all day long. So let's do, what do you guys think the egg count was? And again, while we're doing the egg count, let's do a thumbs up. And if you haven't done that thumbs up yet, let's do that. And show support for the channel, because like I said, we're pushing to 1,200 people in there, and we're not even at 500 thumbs up. So shoot a thumbs up to show support for the channel. Again, it really does help with the algorithms. So the more interaction that we have, the better it is for the channel. And thank you for that as well. Again, I do like to see a lot of thumbs up is another reason. And so I'm just giving you guys a chance to get your guesses up here. I saw the right answer early on. Not that you'll know which one it was. But if you had the same guess as Rob Anderson, I believe it was Rob Anderson, or it was either Rob or John Anderson. He was the first one that I saw with the right guess. We had 11 eggs today. So good amount of eggs today. So, but yeah, I was real happy about that. It's like, especially on a day like today where it's really rainy and crappy. So yeah, they did very, very well. And again, that's out 15 laying hens. So I'm never going to complain about getting 11 eggs out of 15 hens that are laying, you know. So yeah, but they did very, very well. So the most we've had this year so far was 13. So like I said, I'm never going to complain about 11, and so it's a good thing. So, but they're happy girls. They get their treats, so they love it. I'd pack your blocks with dry Quikrete. It will give the strongest possible. Yeah, I didn't. I don't mix the Quikrete. I put the Quikrete into the blocks dry. Did that in all the blocks last year. Never mixed any of it, and it dries up and it hardens very, very well. Like I said, you know, as far as my raised beds go, a couple of questions, and I want to make sure I address these about the raised beds. All right. So number one, yes, I put the Quikrete in dry. All right. Antonio says, "Will I bring my solar panels with me?" Well, like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to sell my property or not, to be honest with you. So if I was going to sell this property, the solar may go with the sale of the property. It might be part of it, but you know, other than that, I would just start something new down there anyway, and you know, again, start small and work my way up. That's how I would do it. So, but anyway, I was talking about real quick about the raised beds. So people ask me why I make the raised bed so high. Number one, okay. So this is really a very simplified reason that I make the beds where they're at. As I get older, I don't want to be bending over. So I have the raised beds where they're at. I can walk around any part of that raised bed, and I can reach more than halfway through the bed from any angle. Okay, and I don't have to squat, I don't have to bend over, and it's going to save my back as I get older. So that is really the main reason why I built the beds up as high as I did. You know, and they're built solid. They're not going anywhere. You know, people that want to speculate and think otherwise, that's fine. You know, how many eggs, Philip Hemmings? We had 11. Philip, it was 11 eggs today. So, but so. Yeah, no, if I sell my property, if I do sell my property here, if I find something that is just so awesome that I'm like, absolutely, we're packing up shop and we're moving down there. Okay. If that's what we end up doing, this will be sold as an off-grid property. And I'm sure that there would be people out there that would be interested in that. You know, I mean, to be able to walk into a situation where they have a greenhouse and they have raised beds and they got a chicken coop on site and they have, you know, a well in solar and all that, that is a prepper's wet dream, to be honest with you. Not being graphic, but, you know, if you walk into that, I mean, why wouldn't you? So, but, you know, Tanya Jackson said raised beds are brilliant in my opinion. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, it's like I got that design from somebody else, to be honest with you. And I saw that somebody else had done that with concrete block. I don't know how they solidified theirs, but I saw the raised, you know, beds like that, and I thought it was really, really cool. but I also wanted to make sure that they weren't going to go anywhere because of the fact that you know, our the soil does go up and down, because of the weather, with the cold and then the warmer weather. So the ground is going to heave, if you will. But if you have the way I did it with the 4-foot rebar driven down into the ground and then the Quikrete in there, that's not going anywhere. It's definitely not bulging out. So, and you can sit on the edge. Exactly, Judy. If you want to, with the way that they're set up and with the blocks on top, you can sit there. We do it all the time. We'll be sitting out there having a beer or whatever the case may be, and we sit on them. And if you wanted to sit there, and if you wanted to weed, or if whatever you're doing, it's perfect. It absolutely is perfect. It works really, really well. If you use wood, wood is going to rot. That's just a fact. Okay. So over time, wood is going to rot being out in the weather like that. So, and again, a lot of it depends on what part of the country you're in again as well. Up here, we have severe weather up here. So, that's part of the process, what I was putting things together, how I wanted to do it. And I wanted to make sure that they're going to last a long time. So that's why we did that. So, and it doesn't mean if something breaks down or part of it breaks down the road, it's an easy fix. I clean out that area, I put new blocks in there and just do it again. I mean, it's not like the whole thing is going to break down all at once if it does. So again, you just have to, you work with it and you see what happens. I just saw something about a forced stimulus, maybe. Who knows, well, it's like I want to share this story with you. Okay, I want to share this story with you because I think that this is important, and it goes to show the mindset of different people. Okay, so, and I'm going to use my daughter. She don't know about this. My daughter doesn't watch the live streams, so they actually, I got an email from Pinball, and I got to give him a message back. So, but I will be doing that. So anyway, so I'm gonna use my daughter as an example. So all the college kids, they got some of the stimulus money went to the colleges to give out to the kids. All right. So Heather and her boyfriend got the same amount of money. All right. I'm not gonna tell you how much money it was, but they both got the same amount of money. Her boyfriend went out and bought a PlayStation 5, and he bought this, and he bought that, and he bought the other thing. You know what my daughter did with her money? You know what she did with it? It's sitting in a bank. She's like, well, I don't know what I might need it for, and I figure right now I'll just sit on it. That's a smart kid. That's a smart kid. And I'm going to definitely take some credit for raising her to think like that. But she just, she's not one that's going to go out and piss that money away.